Hi guys, welcome to my channel. And if you're new to this channel, remember to like, subscribe, and also be part of the family. And also, if you have any comment, uh, question, and anything that you'd want me to cover, please, you're more than welcome to drop a comment or to inbox me privately. For those who'll be interested in private tutorials, do private message me, and we'll conduct those tutorials probably via Zoom or via any platform of your preference, which will be easier to you, of course, at a cost, guys. It's not going to be a free service. It's going to be at a cost to you. So now we are at Learning Unit 6, and Learning Unit 6 speaks about professional conduct requirements. And please do remember, this is a Unisa study guide, and I'm not going to be sharing a Unisa study guide. If you want a Unisa study guide, please do go to Telegram, and you would find that study guide there. Which year study guide am I using? This was done using the 2021 study guide. So make sure you download the 2021 so that you can understand exactly what I'm talking about. You can still use the same thing for other years depending on when you see it, but it will be very much helpful for you to go to Telegram and get the 2021 one so that what I'm be talking about would make sense for you. So they go on to talk about the professional conduct requirements for professional auditors, for internal auditors on Learning Unit 6. So one thing that you have to understand, whatever they went on to talk about there, they talked about things that actually govern auditing as a whole. So this is a very important chapter that you have to make sure that you get used to and you actually grasp and understand. So you become an internal auditor or become an internal auditor because, and when you become an internal auditor, there's a way that you are expected to behave. You just cannot behave in anyhow or any format of manner that you feel like. There are ethics that you have to actually abide by, a behavior that is actually acceptable by the professional bodies that you have registered with. And if you do not abide by those bodies, you can actually lose your license. You can actually be deregistered. You can actually be blacklisted, if I'm to put it in its simplest form. You can be blacklisted from the profession, and where you are not or no longer able or allowed to work as an auditor. Worst case scenario, you can even be sent to prison because of unethical behavior, because someone is going to make a decision based on the confidence that they have in what you've done. So they are going to now take a decision, and whatever decision that they're going to be taking, that decision is going to be based solely on the confidence that they have that you have done your work as an auditor. You have checked, you have done all the due care, and everything is supposed to be in order. That's why we see the back and forth with litigations which are happening, where you can see a company like Eskom taking Deloitte or their auditors. It's there on the public domain, and they're being sued for a certain amount of money. The reason that happens is because Eskom will be saying, no, we took decisions and we thought you guys, you did things accurately, but in actual fact, you guys didn't do your work. And because you didn't do your work, we took decisions based on your advice, and we shouldn't have taken those decisions. So you can actually be sued if you're going to not be operating within the ethics. So if you operate within the ethics, which are governed by the bodies, that the professional bodies that you'd have been registered to, it makes your life very, very much simpler. So for you to actually understand this, there are principles and rules of conduct which you are expected to operate and abide by. So there are just four. It's just four of them. It's not really more, or it's not really much. It's just four, but that four you should be able to tell us with your eyes closed what it means, and you also should, at the end of the day, be able to apply or abide by those principles. So the first principle that they have there is integrity, right? So with integrity, that's where the trust component is, right? So we must trust your judgment at the end of the day. When they're saying operate in integrity, you must be a person whom can be trusted in each and everything that you are going to be doing. Can we trust what you would have given us, right? Can we trust what you would have given us? Because auditors, they have certain characteristics, right? An internal auditor is supposed to be honest, you are supposed to be diligent, and you are supposed to be a responsible person. So you might have to pay the traffic fine, you might have to pay the traffic ticket, because you must be a person who observes the law, and you have to also make sure that you don't knowingly mislead people, right? So in your engagement on things that you are supposed to be doing, integrity demands that you become an honest person. So in your scenarios that you're going to be coming across for examination purposes, if they mention something to do with honesty, right? If they mention something to do with diligence, if they mention something to do with diligence, that falls under the ambit of integrity, right? You must be a person who is honest, you must be a person who works with diligence, and you must be a person who's also responsible. So your study guide also has a brief clip where you can also play, and they'll be enhancing, telling you more about integrity. But the keyword there is honesty. Objectivity simply states that in things, it's objectivity is the absence of a bias. Okay, you must not be impaired, you must not be biased. Let's say you are a Muslim, and the person or the department that you're auditing, or the department that you're doing the practice there, the leader is also Muslim. So you must, whatever, how you perform your work must not be determined or based on your common or shared belief that, okay, because he's a Muslim, I expect him to have done things correctly. You have to be objective. The person can be Christian, and you're also coming from the same church or the same background or the same ethnicity. You must still be able to do your work. You might be whatever, no matter what things that you share in common. You might support the same football team, you might support the same political party, or you might share certain views together. But when you now are executing your work as an auditor, you must be objective. The things that you're going to be doing there, you must do things which serve the benefit of the organization, not the person that you're going to be dealing with when you're dealing with them. So objectivity is going to be the absence of impairment. You must not be impaired, you must not be biased. Confidentiality, when you're speaking about confidentiality, we're talking about your ability to keep things work, and you must keep things, in a nutshell, keep things, people who need to know certain information, they have to know certain information. People who need to know certain information, they have to know certain information. Just because you are privy to knowing, let's say, the entire payroll, you can't then go around telling people, okay, this one earns so much, this one earns so much, this one earns so much. You are not there to disclose such information. There is certain information that there probably even medical records of people which you're going to find in their contracts. It's not your place to then go on and broadcast everything on WhatsApp or on the company braai and stuff. You are supposed to be a person who's able to keep secrets to an extent. That's what they are saying there. Confidentiality, you just don't share information, especially with people who don't even need that information. So there are people or there are organizations which demand that, okay, the medical records of the employees be disclosed. So as you go through those contracts for auditing purposes to check that everything is in place, you then don't stigmatize people based on that information that you have found out. The information that you have found out has to be confidential and has to be kept confidential. Even when you go home, even when you go and interact with other people who are not related to the business or the organization that you are working for, you don't disclose that information, because if the information makes it to the public domain and it can be found out that you are the only one and you are the link to disclosing that information, the consequences can be very, very severe. So the auditor shall be prudent and use protection of protection of information acquired in the course of their duties. So if you come across certain information, you have to protect that information. A person in the domain of an auditor must feel safe and know that even if I disclose one or two things to the auditor, they are not going to affect them probably in any other way, except if it's going to be something that is actually being done which is actually wrong. Right, so if it's really still consistent with the work, there's no need for you as a person to then go out there and start publishing information that you would have acquired as you be doing your duty. So you must really make sure that you abide by that. Another rule that you have to also abide by is competency. Competency, you must also be qualified. You must have the theory. You must be knowing exactly what you're doing. Competence, are you skilled enough? Do you have the theoretical knowledge to be executing the function of an auditor, right? So they're saying you are going to be engaging in areas or services that you have the necessary knowledge, skills, and experience for. So you are not just going to be trying out things. The things that you're going to be trying out are things that you have been approved, which means take your studies seriously, because when it comes to the real world, we will expect that you already know the information. And when you then have a knowledge gap, it creates problems for yourself, because you are going to be limited in the way that you are going to be participating, or the way that you're going to be offering a service. So remember, these are these are like the pillars of auditing, really: objectivity, integrity, confidentiality, and competence. Be at a position where you are able to differentiate or to tell us all of them. And also, please do watch those YouTube links. They are very, very helpful. Self-assessments are going to be available on my Unisa. Remember, if there is a part that you don't understand, that you need clarity on, you are more than welcome to inbox. You are more than welcome to comment. You are more than welcome to like. Remember, do subscribe, and thank you so much.